The next step is Tattva Jnana. Is nothing but realization of the truth. When you realize the truth, what happens? The seeking stage comes to an end and the searching stage starts. So you are no longer that sadhaka. A person who has got Tattva Jnana is no longer the seeker or no longer the sadhaka, because that person already possesses that knowledge. If I lose my car key, I already possess my car and my car key. So I have to search for it. So when a person gets to a stage where you have Tattva Jnana, the seeking stops and the searching begins. And with this realization of that truth, with this knowledge or with the wisdom, automatically comes a sense of humility. You will find that the greatest cricket player, Virat Kohli, is not arrogant about his game. He may be arrogant about the competition. There may be a physical show while he's playing, because like war, competitive sports requires aggression. But normally if you see him, he's a soft guy. So that humility comes in automatically. Real knowledge leads to the realization that we are very small. We are a tiny speck in this amazing, awesome, mammoth creation. We are nothing. One of my experiences, whenever I travel to the Himalayas, I'm doing these treks. When I'm saying Himalayas, I don't mean Shimla. When you go beyond, when you go deep into the Himalayas, and that you have the mountain, in front of you, massive. And then you are like, you feel that you are such a small element in this creation. If you are in an empty beach and you see that vast ocean in front of you, massive water, you feel like you're such a small speck in that creation. And Tattva Jnana then leads to bhakti or absolute devotion. Once there was a young boy who saw his mother was working. And what was she working on? With a cloth, a thread and a needle. And he asked her, what was she doing? What are you doing, Amma? And she said she was making an embroidery. The boy didn't understand what an embroidery is. So he says, what is this? He asked her what that was. And she said, let me embroider it for you, pun intended. Because embroider means elaborating, giving information or knowledge. So in this context that we are talking, embroider, So she said, I am creating this beautiful design in this nice cloth with these colorful threads. And the boy is looking at her and he sees this cloth, which is, securely bound by this wooden ring. If you see these embroidery works, in the handiwork they do, it's firmly secure. Like we are secure in this creation. And it is securely bound there. But all he is able to see is a jumble of colors, a jumble of threads, which is pretty chaotic, which is pretty, it's like a mess. And he tells his mother, Amma, what are you talking? Are you saying this is a beautiful design? All I see is a mess out there. And then the mother turns the cloth and the boy sees this intricate, beautiful, lovely, flowery design, which is a systematic pattern, which is made with a systematic pattern. So oftentimes when we look from things from our narrow perspective, then what happens is we see everything as a problem. We see everything as a complicated mess. But when we extract ourselves from our narrow perspective and when we see it in the light of common knowledge, in the light of the bigger knowledge, ultimately, of course, Tattva Jnana, but till we get to Tattva Jnana in the light of the bigger knowledge. When we get there, then things make a lot of sense. We see a beautiful, wonderfully created pattern, which makes logical sense, which makes emotional sense in the bigger picture of life. So Tattva Jnana then leads to Samadhi. Samadhi is what? Samadhi is immersion in that knowledge, immersion in that wisdom, and in that devotion. We find this in the life history of every sannyasi. Whether you see a successful, excelling sportsman, a musician, an artist, a literary writer, a poet, whichever field you look at it, scientific explorations, people who are indulging in scientific explorations, all of these, you can see, that there is this immersion to the exclusion of other activities. In fact, people who explore space are astronauts who go out there and spend 6 months, 1 year and beyond. They have actually left the earth and they've gone there completely to the exclusion of it. That is their level of interest. In fact, a lot of people will find very scared to go to space. Forget about going to space. People feel scared to do skydiving from the airplane. You know, when you go to the airplane and when you're thinking and people tell you, can you skydive? It's something that takes just freedom. I wouldn't call it courage. It just takes freedom to take that plunge, to take that jump. Imagine going to space. When you are going to space, you're so passionate about what you're doing that you're willing to leave this planet Earth, which is where you spent all your life up till now. So leaving it to the exclusion of what you would otherwise be doing, you immerse yourself. And that absolute focus, that absolute concentration, dedication, those are nothing but a byproduct of love. This samadhi then leads to Atma Tripti, which means self-delight. Tripti is delight. Atma Rathi. Rathi is satisfaction, self-satisfaction, finding satisfaction within yourself. And Atma Santushti, self-contentment. Actually, some of these times when you're doing this, you start thinking of the verse itself. So it's a beautiful exercise to connect the verse. So Atman Yevatmanatushtaha, finding that satisfaction within yourself. That then leads to Aparoksha Jnana. The next step is Aparoksha Jnana. Aparoksha Jnana is direct experienced wisdom. Paroksha is hearsay or something that we have read about, information that we have got from other sources. Aparoksha is what we have experienced ourselves. My eyes, my sense organs, my wisdom, my mind and intellect, what I experience through these faculties which are mine. Remember, I'm saying I and mine. That is Aparoksha Jnana or direct experienced wisdom. One of these examples that I keep giving is the tennis games, and I love watching these rallies when Federer and Nadal are, it's like playing these rallies. It's like a music concert, up and down, beautiful shots. Each one of them is something to be relished. And sometimes it goes on for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And both players are completely immersed in it, completely 100% immersed. And then one of them wins the point, they come out, the next one starts. There's no break, there's no nothing, there's no distraction. The next point starts. The next point could be a longer point than the first one. Remember why I take this example of Federer and Nadal is they are experts in their game. They have the complete knowledge. In this world of tennis, there's nobody else who is them. So they are the epitome of knowledge in tennis. When a person who has reached that epitome of knowledge in tennis already got it, so will the person get bored because he already has got it or she already has got it? Not really in these kind of examples, right? In fact, in these kind of examples, the more better you become, the more epitome you reach, you get deeper and immerse deeper into it. So that kind of getting absorbed in your own wisdom and getting thoughtless. When these two guys are playing, they are not thinking of anything else, completely thoughtless. In that experience, that is getting deeper and deeper into samadhi, which is nothing but this Aparoksha Jnana leads to Nirvedam or dispassion, wherein when you lose a point, it doesn't matter. When you win a point, it doesn't matter.